30, 35. You just literally feel the car left. That's it, right. That's good. Relax your steering a little bit slower. That's it. That's it. Okay, relax your arms, just feel the car in. It turns well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, your centre of gravity is lower.
Yeah.
Less weight, I think this is about 1750, this one. So that's a whole almost 400-500 kilos less than the other car. Yeah, I think there's 2 hot laps cars out, plus obviously guests. So do you want stability management on or off for the first run?
Try it off.
Try it off, okay. Right, so let's just press. So can you see on there? Yeah. So those buttons, you can configure those. When you press that bit, it'll change whichever function it is. So if you press it once, sorry, it's a stop start. Yeah, stop start. So if you press that once, the one at the bottom, so that's the stability management. That's sport. Yeah. And if you press and hold, okay. That's now should say off. Yeah. Yeah. So now it's fully off. Yeah. Okay. Sport actually gives you a little bit of slip and slide, but without intervening too much. Yeah. Generally speaking, a lot of the magazine tests are now discovering sport on the ESP systems is actually almost quicker than off, because you're not frying the tyres all the time. You know? So try that. So we'll start slow, about 20 mile an hour, and literally go from your side to my side to your side, on and off the gas. As low as slaloming up and down. But start slow and then try and build your speed up. So we'll start at 20 and see if you can get to sort of up to 25, 30 by the end of the slope.
Just plug it in.
Yeah. And go left. Right. Go left. And right. Remember, you've got to be ahead of yourself. Yeah. Because you've got to think, where will I be ready for the transition? Reactivate the stability program for this bit. So try that again. Play around with the throttle a little bit, but it's always about working out where you want your tyres to be next. So transitioning from one to the other is a really nice thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll turn it off. Yeah. There you go. Okay, left, right, left, right. Now start straightening. And there you go. Because obviously when you get to the end, you don't want to be side on as you're arriving. Yeah, exactly. It's uncomfortable basically. It's not going to tip over or anything. Yeah. One of those little Suzuki, vans, you might tip over at the end, doing Richard Hammond. You want to try and launch?
Can do, yeah.
Try one run with the stability program on, and maybe try one with it in sport. Okay. Just allows a little bit of rotation without intervening as much. Yeah. So we're going to go in there and then obviously point up left. Now the other thing to think about, Scott, because you've been here before, if you think about what affects your traction off the line and grip of the tyres, it is the temperature of the tyres, how much throttle you're using, how much you're asking them to cope with. But have a look at the road surface. Can you see how rough this section of the road surface is? In fact, if you just drop back slightly, have a proper good look at it. So going in reverse, that's just there. That's it. Have a proper good look at the road. Can you see this is wear and tear on the road surface? Yeah. 10 years, 12 years of launches. Yeah. Can you see how broken the road is? Yeah. So it follows that if the road's a little bit pock-marked and broken, then that's not as much road surface in contact with your tyre, is it? Yeah. So to get slightly better traction, where you place the car on the road, i.e. where the tyres are going to be, has a massive effect on how much traction you get. Yeah. So that's another way of thinking about what you're doing as well. So have a little play with it, and yeah, absolutely.
Tyres are probably still wet.
Still wet and cold, and that's something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you go on a journey and you go through a wet area, and up over a hill maybe, and it's a lot colder, you've got to think about the effect that's going to have on the traction you've got.
Yeah.
It's no good just then planting your foot the same way you would when you were down in the valley, because suddenly you haven't got quite as much traction, and that's what catches people out.
Yeah.
And at this time of year, you could go into a corner and under the trees it's still icy.
Yeah.
Unless you're prepared for the change in grip, that's why people go off.
Yeah. So I've done quite a lot of karting. I've got my own road tax, but I go out in it enough. But with that, it's sort of.
So position yourself slightly differently. That's it. So you ever so slightly off of that rough section, aren't you? So we've left everything in the same. So it's exactly the same as it was before.
Yeah.
Feel what see if you can feel the difference. Yeah, slightly different, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It picked up earlier.
It did. We've got a huge chunk of torque in about second and third gear, and the catches this engine, as you notice, as it's changing up a gear, it drops it back into its peak torque.
Yeah.
So of course, you've got to think about that as well, particularly when it's slipping.
Timing.
So when you're on the road and you're maybe going past the farm and the mud's all across the road, and you know not to just go on the throttle while you're on the mud. You just wait fractionally later. It's the same with this. You can think about when you're hard on the gas what effects it's going to have on the back tyres. Do you want to go to the track? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Looks quite quiet. So. Give him some space.
Yeah, give him some space.
Not traction.
Do you know what? Can I just say, it's so nice to hear someone say that. Let's give that other guest some space, and then we'll play catch up, rather than going right up behind.
Because in karting, I spent the whole time in qualifying trying to find two saves.
Exactly. Good on you.
It's carnage.
Okay. There you go. Stay nice and relaxed with your arms. Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're smiling, so I think you must like it.
Yeah.
But even in this car, you can feel that fraction delay before you go on the gas. It means the car finishes rotating, and you're keeping that weight on the front, then you're accelerating out. Stiffen the suspension up a wee bit. Exhaust on. Following a saloon car, it's quite interesting to watch where the weight's going.
Yeah, it's just
From the back. Really relax your arms. I literally, Scott, steer with my thumbs. I push with my thumbs. My fingers are just resting. What you're trying to do is feel the messages through the front wheels. Don't forget, the front tyres get there first. They tell you how much grip you've got.
That's probably another go-karting thing, because go-karting, I'm
you
also
tend to
holding myself
exactly,
in, because otherwise I'll just fall out of the seat.
Well, one option is you think about changing your seat slightly to give yourself a bit more of a supportive seat.
Yeah.
So that you're
I tend to rattle about because I'm so thin.
Get some padding.
I have.
Get some sides. get the seat fitted to you,
Yeah.
so that you're not fighting with the wheel, because you want to just use the wheel for steering, not for holding on. So he's going to go to the right, stay to the right, they're staying to the left. Whenever you're following people, as you know from karting, but particularly on track days, if you ever start doing track days, the one at the front might well get on the brake a lot harder than everyone else thinks. It's just like the motorway, it all just truncates back up like a concertina. Okay, he's going left, we'll stay right. Brake a bit deeper. Because this, even though it's a GT car, you can still feel weight transfer, can't you? Fore and aft. So keep the weight on the nose on the way into the corner. So until you finish steering, stay on the brake. See the difference? Just trailing it. So you're braking hard and then brake and then roll the brakes into the turn. There. See the difference? To wake the tyres up, braking, turning, brake, still braking. Now you finish steering, now you finish braking, then you're back on the gas. So all the time you're adding steering, you know, you're fractionally coming off the brakes each time, the more you're steering in. You're just leaving a little rub on the front brakes. That's it. Look up, so start looking past them, look ahead of them, that's it. Much more, is it? It's all about planning ahead. Where are you going to come off the gas? Where are you going on the brakes hard? Where are you going to start to rub the brake off and start steering in? That's nice, just stay to the right. That's it. Wait. Now pick the throttle up, unwind and accelerate out. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Rubbing all the way into the corner. Brake and stay on the brake, gently into the there. It's made the apex. See the difference? Because you're not coming off the brakes. You're not unloading the front tyre. Wait, then start picking it up. And if you're in slightly differently at the start of the corner, do you know what? You're in a different corner. So don't drive the rest of the corner the same. Drive from wherever you are to the exit. Make sense? So people spin on track days because they come in on a different place, like here, and they try and drive the rest of the corner the same. You're in a different corner now. Same as if you're overtaking. Now, if we're on the right hand side, we're in a tighter corner. So if we were over there overtaking, this is tighter. So relax your arms, relax your arms. I shouldn't see your muscles bulging. That's it, absolutely. See, you don't need to hold on. hot, just change what you're doing and let the car settle down. Don't be the hero and just keep your foot in. That's why people end up in the barrier. You know, they're not, you know, sort of confident enough to say, do you know what, I made a slight mistake there, I need to change what I'm doing now. Don't be embarrassed to go slow enough, because that way you can go fast.
Will I be able to try the paddle?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can either go into manual mode by activating them, or put it in manual mode completely, but providing you're using the paddles, it will stay in manual. So just start operating them. That's it. So click down on the left, there you go. And then up on the right, shoot first, there you go. So now it's just a click up, click down. Most of this circuit is seconds. Right. Second, third or fourth, okay? Stay to the right, nice and steady. Might want to hook up third in the wet just to equalise it. This is second as well, but you're looking to hook third relatively early now and ride the torque. So hook third early and ride it all the way out, hooking fourth at the exit, and then brake, and then third, then second, because you can feel that torque reaction as it drops in here. And that's it. Still stay relaxed with your hands. Don't fight the car. If you notice, if you're stiff, when the car moves around, you fight it. But if you think about it, by the time you feel it, it's behind you. So you're then putting an input in that then affects us up there. Finding yourself turning away from the apex, you added too much steering at the start. Right. And it's probably because you're a bit stiff with your hands. So where you're turning in and then having to turn back, you added too much at the start. Don't forget there's a delay and then the car turns. So delay, turning. See the difference? Add as much steering that time, and yet we still made the apex. But of course what you weren't doing was dragging the front tyres. Steady, just in case he moves. Saying eject, eject, eject. Nice and steady. A bit sideways there. I think it's one of the instructors on a hot lap. Pushed it wide on the exit, it just rolled out, didn't it? Ooh. It's nothing like living on a knife edge. Yeah. Get it slowed, get it slowed. that grey car, as you came in too hot into turn 3, the grey car got away from you on the exit. Because you came in hot, you had to manage the car, and you were later on the gas, so you actually ended up going slow. You came in faster for about 10 metres, but you lost speed through the rest of it. So that was an example of where you go a bit too fast, the other car got on the gas earlier and came out significantly ahead. Now that is your back tyre starting to just heat up. Right. So you've got a little bit of balling up going on the road. Okay. So let's cool them down for a bit. Does that make sense? So where you come in a bit hot, that's where he got away from you. Okay. That was your Vettel to his Hamilton. But it's an interesting exercise in itself, chasing other cars, isn't it? As you know from karting. Yeah, definitely.
Learn a lot as well.
Yeah. What do you think?
Very good. Yeah, it's definitely the difference in the mid corner when it rotates where the other one doesn't.
Yeah. But it's still, if you go on the gas with this too soon, you just stop that rotation and you take the weight off the front tire at the very moment, because it might be just a fraction of grip you're lessening, but that's all you need to start sliding. You know, if you're at £9.99, you've got a penny's worth of grip left. But if you put 2p's worth of gas on, well, now you're at £10 and a penny, which means you are sliding.
Once you're sliding, you're sliding.
And then, of course, in a road car, you get all the other things start happening as well. Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you want to try it with it in sport on the ESP? Yeah. So obviously there is less stability program and less traction. Right. Okay. So you're going to be managing the car. Okay. So don't do this for everyone. Okay. So if at any point I'm hanging upside down from my seatbelt, there will be violence involved. Okay. Okay. So remember, coming into the corner, you're having to manage the rotation. And obviously you can't then just mash the throttle on the way out. Too hot, obviously it'll let you rotate more. But it does feel ever so slightly more agile, doesn't it? Because it's not blunting it. Work on relaxing. Yeah? Holding yourself with your tummy muscles, relax your arms, work on your core. We're going to turn left. How's that?
Very good. Very good.
Well done. I say, I can count on the fingers of both hands how many times I've ever, in 10 years, turned it to sport.
Yeah. Sure we go.
Let's finish off with a stop on the way.
Get some appetite.
Yeah. The smell of success. Was it the understeer? The smell and sound of disappointment.
Yeah. Just to cool the tyres back down.
Yeah. Let's put some water on it. Track control. Can we have water on the straight, please? 35, in fact 30. Let's just go trundle down there quite gently.
Oh, yeah, not slightly. Yeah.
Do a lane change, your side to my side.
Okay.
A little bit over brakes. You see your tyre temps, that front left, 77.
Wow.
So it's just dragging on the way in, basically, and turning left. And drag is heat.
Yeah, exactly.
See how that guy didn't even look left when he stepped out, because he's looking at his son, presumably, or grandson. Right. Extremely nice and slow.
Yes.
Around the back of these ones, I think there's a space right on the end.
So how much different is the GTR to this?
Spikier, grippier. When it lets go quicker because there's an element of aero going on. So of course if you get it a little bit too sideways at high speed, it will really start going sideways. P for park. Raw